Sound is one piece of the movie puzzle that many people may not expect to be that important, but you'd be surprised to know the impact it can have on the viewers. Half the battle is fought by the ear, and our view is incomplete without the accompaniment of our other senses. So let's take a partial look into the world of movie sound. Remember that sound? It's from Christopher Nolan's Inception. And for quite a while afterwards, any YouTube video that had a dramatic moment reused this sound. It was always there, without fail, from 2010 to 2012. When you hear, you know something big is going down. Plenty of other sounds have the same effect, having an immediate meaning as soon as you recognize it, including while sight is the primary method of movies to tell the story to the audience, the ears are no second place to scoff at. Almost all films are highly enhanced by the sounds that merge with the images on the screen. It adds a sense of realism and enthrallment that launches the experience to the next level. But how exactly do these sounds work in a movie? What do they accomplish? Today I'll go over sound effects and dialogue, and in the next video I'll cover the musical score. Each plays a big part in movies, so they'll both get their respective time. Sound effects are usually points of emphasis, meant to bring your attention to particular information that's important enough to know, even if it's not always important to the plot.
Look, with these gals that want to buy it, most of them are old and dignified. Social register types, you know what I mean?
Here, we can listen into background noises that show that this is the big city, good old New York, full of life, people, and angry Italians.
Hey, I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
Whereas in this clip, everything is desolate. It's obvious by the grass and the decaying buildings on the screen that no one lives here anymore. But we're really sold on this deserted version of New York because instead of hearing cars and honking horns, we hear birds chirping in the background. These effects, despite being light, heighten the experience. There's nothing quite like it. I know of little that can compare with the tensity of a lightsaber turning on that makes people stand upright and pay attention. Such simple pieces of the puzzle make up for so much about what we love about our favorite films. Members of the film crew known as Foley artists are the ones assigned with creating the sounds in films, and they use a variety of tools to get what they're looking for. They'll have entire rooms dedicated to the construction of just the right sound, and that can mean anything from water pits to bedrock, random power tools, and even the occasional decrepit lawnmower. Maybe they'll even tase grapes. Yes, they are. Foley artists live up to their name. It takes real creativity, grit, and art to find just the right combination of objects to get the sound you're looking for. And not only that, but you have to time it when you record it with the movie, so that the audio can be perfectly synced up with the video and the editor won't have to go and pull their hair out. Sometimes, though, there are sounds that aren't meant to enhance the film in the same way as normal sound effects. Take narration, for instance. Morgan Freeman reading over a movie with that silky smooth voice of his is often only heard by the audience, not the characters in the story.
I can smell you.
This is the difference between the two types of sound you hear in movies: diegetic and non-diegetic sound. The contrast is simple. Diegetic noises are heard by both the characters and the audience. Non-diegetic noises are only heard by the audience. These tend to stay that way, though sometimes we tend to have a bit of fun with that.
Harold suddenly found himself, beleaguered and exasperated, outside the bakery.
Shut up!
cursing the heavens in futility.
No, I'm not. I'm cursing you, you stupid voice, so shut up and leave me alone!
On a side note, did you know that James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader, narrated the entire Bible?
For God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have eternal life.
10 out of 10, would recommend. It puts me to sleep. It's wonderful. Then, of course, there's your normal diegetic talking, otherwise known as dialogue. We do love to communicate with each other, sometimes through text, sometimes through written letter, and honestly, nothing beats the good old face-to-face conversation. But dang, if it's not hard to capture accurate speech in movies sometimes.
Hey, Scotty. Jesus, man.
Dialogue might very well be the hardest thing you have to write in a movie. Think about it. You can write a story from the beginning to the ending, but then you have to actually fill that time with interactions that sound both normal and interesting enough to keep the attention of the audience. It's like being hyped for a road trip with your best friends, but then remembering that everyone's already bored by the first 30 minutes of driving. You'd think that writing about what we would talk about daily would come more naturally to people, especially those who literally get paid to write. But sooner or later, we eventually get it right, and sometimes we get some of the most beautiful and memorable lines ever to be shown in movies.
Let me tell you something. I owe you nothing. If you carried that bag 1,000,000 miles, you did what you were supposed to do. Because you brought me into this world. And from that day, you owed me everything you could ever do for me, like I will owe my son if I ever have another. But you don't own me. You can't tell me when or where I'm out of line, or try to get me to live my life according to your rules. You don't even know what I am, Dad. You don't know who I am. You don't know how I feel, what I think. And if I tried to explain it the rest of your life, you will never understand. You are 30 years older than I am. You and your whole lousy generation believes the way it was for you is the way it's got to be. And not until your whole generation has lain down and died will the dead weight of you be off our backs. You understand? You've got to get off my back. Dad. You're my father. I'm your son. I love you. I always have, and I always will.
Now, what would you do if you were used to hearing these lines in your native language, and then you heard them in another language? The process of translating one film into another language is usually called dubbing, and nowadays that's nothing new. Many foreign releases are being dubbed into either English or vice versa, depending on the country, especially in Japan. In fact, as of 2020, Japan's overseas animation income beat all other animation income sources combined. Sometimes dubs don't work out the best.
You're not very nice, you know.
Neither are you! You big bully!
Oh, you bit me. Oh, you bit my toe. Oh, my poor toe, that's not fair. I didn't try and hurt you, you know, did I? I just wanted to ask you if you saw my friends the gorillas. I can't find my friends.
But if you've got people that know what they're doing well enough, then I don't think you have anything to worry about. Remember, after everything that we've talked about involving sound, don't ever lose sight of sound's importance in a movie. Whether it's talking, singing, fighting, or just something truly iconic, it's all part of giving something that the audience will perk their ears at whenever it arrives. It makes the movie that much richer. So don't skimp out on sound. If anything, let it be one of the first things that hits your mind when you think, how will I do this?